To learn how the markets at 281-820-8905 to register for our complimentary half-day class. Find out more at HoustonOTA.com and listen to Power Trading Hour weekdays at 2 p.m. on Business 1110 KTEK.
Did you know that the average yearly repair bill for a car 5 years or older is more than $1,200? Having repair coverage for your car just makes sense, but the trick is not to overpay for it. With Toco Warranty, you can get a highly rated vehicle protection plan, usually for less than a tank of gas per month. And now, we're offering a zero down payment program. To get a great car vehicle protection plan at a super low price, call Toco Warranty at 1-800-269-3100. That's 1-800-269-3100. Terms and conditions apply.
The following program does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of the staff, management, or ownership of this station.
That's like right on 906.
It's time to get on the right path with Right Path Real Estate Radio with Tom Perry. Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from taking action and succeeding today.
Welcome to the show.
Get ready. The guy that will put your fears behind you is on the air now. Taking calls at 713-785-1817.
Right, stand by,
toll free 877-881-0271. Now here's your host, Tom Perry.
Hey, welcome to the show, Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. That's 713-785-1817. Trying to share on the Book of Faces, the Right Path show, but I can't get it to come up on my phone right now. So if you want to call in, we are a call-in show, 713-785-1817. Got a lot of stuff to talk about because we were not live on, Wednesday of last week, because we were Wednesday. Jason and I were in the studio together. Thursday we were not. Friday we were not because we were Dallas and came back. And then Monday we were not because Memorial Day holiday. So I hope everybody gave thanks for the people that have given their life in service to our country, and we appreciate and want to honor that. So thanks for that. And then here we are Tuesday, and Jason's out of town right now. He's on vacation, and amazingly we're still buying houses this weekend, and we're still running a business, and we're still running a radio show. And it's great when you can build a business so that it still operates even when you're not there. So if you remember Robert Kiyosaki's book, if you've never read Robert Kiyosaki's book, then if there's ever a book that will change your life, I mean, obviously that's not the only book that can possibly change your life, but it's definitely one of many books that would change your life. I mean, I'd recommend the Bible first, and then Robert Kiyosaki's book, definitely in the top 10. But if you read Kiyosaki's book and follow what it says, you have some aha moments when it comes to how that whole process works. So Valley, good morning. Andy, good morning. I'm saying good morning, folks that are watching on the Book of Faces. If you want to follow us along, if you want to just listen on the radio, you're probably listening to AM 1110 right here in Houston. We're live from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. Unless there's something where we have to play a best of show. And then we're also rebroadcast in Dallas on AM 620 from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. And it'd be great if we could get on live there at 9 a.m. also, so we'd be live in two cities simultaneously. That'd be awesome. I wonder if there's anybody at the radio station that can make that happen. Yeah, probably not. So anyhow, trying to get Facebook. I'll work on that on the break. So here's what I want to talk about this morning is that, there's people in life that will accept changes or making changes, and then there's other people in life that will only accept the way things are and not really want to change their circumstances or things like that. So I had an interesting experience on Friday of last week. Not going to name names or anything like that, but I'm going to kind of interweave this story here for you. And taking you back to March of 2010, I was in the health insurance business and really enjoyed what I did. I had a wholesale health insurance agency that we had 110 agents in about 7 states. And, I was getting licensed in more and more states, and I had full-time recruiters that were recruiting agents for me. And we were adding an average of about 10 licensed agents onto our team a week. So we were growing pretty rapidly. That's about 500 agents a year that we'd be adding. And then Obamacare came along and just wiped all of that out because within 30 days of Obamacare passing, then we were out of business. And so looking for a new career, ended up being in the construction business, remodeling for investors, a company called Fast Track. I'm the founder of that. So fast forward to today, I didn't know anything about construction when I first started that business, but I had guys that were working for me that knew construction inside and out. All I had to do was figure out the numbers, the metrics, because that's really what business is all about, is understanding your metrics, understand marketing, understanding sales. And if you can figure out the metrics to your business, then you know how to scale the business. It's basically modeling the business on a spreadsheet where you're accounting for all of the different costs and things like that. And then figuring out which are the gauges of the business that you need to measure to track the business on a day-to-day, weekly basis, monthly basis, etc. So I figured those things out, reversed engineered it, and then that led to me meeting Jason, in around 2012, somewhere right around there. We ended up in a mastermind group together. We kept growing our knowledge. July of 2013 is when we started Houston House Buyers. Bought 7 houses in 2013, bought 67 houses in 2014, bought 90 houses in 2015, and then 120 houses last year. And this year we're on pace to do about 150 houses. So gone pretty fast from 0 to more than 400 houses. We've also bought some houses at another company that we have, different marketing, all of that kind of stuff. What brings me to all of this is I sometimes when we do this on a day-to-day basis, just day in, day out, we forget what it's like through the eyes of a brand new person. And so I got a chance to see that again on Friday. Even the people that come to our weekend retreat, oftentimes they've been doing real estate or have been considering real estate, have been looking at real estate. It's at least been on their radar for a little while. They've watched the TV shows, that kind of stuff, but had a chance. So back up a little bit. About a month ago, 6 weeks ago, something like that, at my house, I had a tree that was fallen over into my neighbor's house behind us. Well, I don't deal with that a whole lot in the investment business. So, but I do have a good arborist because we deal with trees on another. So call the arborist that does work for us. He came out, removed 3 trees. Well, that obviously changed no pun intended, the landscape of our backyard. But not only that, it also put a lot of sunlight on that eastern side of the house that we don't normally have. made the house get a little bit hotter because we don't have double pane windows. Decided to go with solar screens. So I was being asked on Friday, hey, do you have anybody that you know of on that that knows about solar screens? And I'm like, we never really deal with that on the investing side. So what I said is no, I don't have a clue. Well, lo and behold, I'm driving home on Friday evening, and I'm making the exit for my neighborhood, and guess what? There's a truck that is fully decked out with wraps and advertising and all that kind of stuff that says, like Solar Screens USA or something like that. And so it's got the phone number on there. I call the guy. He's making a U-turn, basically getting ready to turn into my neighborhood. He lives in my neighborhood. I mean, what are the odds of that? So I call the guy, hey, can you give me any pricing about solar screens? And he said, yeah, I can sure do that. Most people are like, kind of like the medical profession right now. No, I can't give you a number over the phone. I got to come out, and, it's all very specific. Can't give you any idea. I'm like, can you just give me a ballpark? He's like, yeah, it's about $65 per screen. Well, it turns out he knows. So he ends up dropping his family off and comes out to my house, measures all the windows that I need done. He's going to install them on Friday. But it turns out he knows a lot of the people that I know in real estate investing, knows one of the biggest players and one of the co-owners of one of the other real estate mentoring and investing groups in town. One of the good guys in the business, a guy that I consider a friend and a colleague. Great guy. Well, so it turns out you realize, hey, what a small world it is. And here's a guy that runs a small business. If you understand the Robert Kiyosaki quadrants, he's in the S quadrant. And he asked me what I'm doing. I said, well, buy, fix, and flip, quite a few houses. And told him, over 300 houses. And he goes, that just seems so scary to me. I'm thinking, here's a guy that works on houses all day long, every day. And yet he says, if I mess up in this business, he said, I can lose a couple $100, maybe a few $1,000. But if I mess up in that business, I can lose, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I realize that oftentimes our perception of how things are the reality for how things are for as long as we believe that to be true.
2 minutes.
So want to talk about paradigm shifts today. And you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. The phone number is 713-785-1817. That's 713-785-1817. I told him about the radio show. He may actually even be listening. So I'm not naming his name or anything like that. I haven't fully given the name of his business, anything like that. He's a great, great guy. I really enjoyed visiting with him. And I love the fact that it allowed me to look through a brand new person's eyes and realizing the things that are believed to be true that are just I'll call it the mind trash between our ears. And oftentimes what prevents people from being where they want to be in life, wherever they are, it's like you can choose to be wherever you want to be in life at any point in time. But in order to get there, almost always you're going to have to let go of things that you think you know to grab onto real truths about business or about whatever it is in life. So you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. During the break, I'm going to try and get on I'm going to try and share on my personal page the Book of Faces, the broadcast that's going on right now. And if you want to ask me a question on the Book of Faces, you can do that. I'll be following that on the break and answering those during the next segment.
Mic's off.
All right, thanks. I don't know why this is lagging so much. Bad when the Right Path feed is not showing up in my feed.
On Facebook,
Virtuoso Graphics is not your ordinary sign
you
shop.
went live.
We're your one-stop shop for all your
not
signage
on my
and
phone,
graphics
though.
needs. We're located in the Galleria area and have been in business for over 13 years. We offer a wide variety of signage products, including Bandit, aluminum, and ADA compliant signs to 3D letters. Need something printed?
Just figured out how to do that
done
then.
too.
I did that
From
that
outdoor
way,
banners
so now
to business cards and anything in between. Take advantage of our laser engraving services. We can custom engrave on many products available through our catalogs or your own personal items. From large orders to small, we can accommodate your specific needs. We pride ourselves on customer service and work one-on-one with customers to make sure they get a good quality product. Come view our showroom to browse our many samples to get you inspired. Want your business to get noticed? Give us a call at 713-623-4425 or visit our website at virtuoso-graphics.com.
Investor loans offering up to 100% financing are still available. You just have to know where to look. Look no further than Noble Mortgage. Noble Mortgage is a full-service mortgage company that's been helping investors since 2003. Noble Mortgage offers up to 100% financing to investors that covers purchase, repairs, and closing costs. In addition to private money, Noble Mortgage offers conventional loans, FHA, and even no-income documentation loans for both residential and commercial properties. Call and ask about our 5-point guarantee, which includes free pre-qualifications within 2 business days. Call 713-680-8100 or visit noblemoney.com. That's noblemoney.com. Our team has over 50 years experience in the mortgage industry. Call us today, 713-680-8100, or visit us on the web, noblemoney.com, noblemoney.com.
NMLS 292143, 8203 Willow Place Drive, Houston, Texas, 77070.
Are you an active real estate investor? If so, a
2
real estate
minutes.
attorney is a crucial member to add to your team. Contact Ehlert Law at 346-231-1120. Ehlert Law serves clients in real estate and business law with principal offices in Houston and their acquisitions and dispositions. We are equipped to serve you in your residential and commercial real estate law needs. Contact Ehlert Law at 346-231-1120. We draft and review docs and structured transactions and represent you in disputes and litigation. Or choose one of our transaction packages to cover your sub-2, wholesale, wraps, or private financing deals. Our business and commercial services include business contracts, entity formations, and business consultations. If you need a reliable, dedicated firm to serve on your team, contact Ehlert Law at 346-231-1120. 346-231-1120. Paid for by Gerald Ayler, Principal Offices in Houston, not board certified by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work, everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992, or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
This is
All right.
Business 1110.
Hot mics in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817, or follow us on the Book of Faces at facebook.com, and then like our page, Right Path Real Estate. If you do that, I believe that the way it works is anytime we go live, you can see the video right there, live on the spot. What I like about it is when I go to a networking event, things like that, people will walk up to me and say, hey, man, I watch your radio show on a regular basis. And I always think it's kind of funny to say that you're watching a radio show instead of listening to the radio show. But I think more people watch it than listen to it, although I could be surprised about that. I'm also amazed at how many people out of state, out of town. At our last weekend retreat that we had up in Dallas, we had people that came in from San Francisco. We had people that came in from Seattle and from Pittsburgh and Denver and Baltimore. I think it was Baltimore or Boston, one or the other. I always get those confused. Anyhow, and I know the people from Massachusetts and the people from Maryland they're gonna Tom, you gotta know that. I said, whatever. And I know it's 2 different sports teams. I know it's the Patriots and it's the Ravens and all that. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, we're down south. I'm just kidding. But here's the thing: is our real estate message works across the country because we're one of the few people that actually teaches real estate as a business. And there's a lot of bad education out there. And the trouble is that it all sounds true. And the people that are teaching the bad stuff, they're not intentionally teaching bad stuff. What they're doing is they're teaching what they believe to be true, but they've never really built it in a scalable manner. They've done a few deals. They do 5, 6, 7 deals, and then they think that because they've done 7 deals that they can go out and teach. And what they'd rather do is instead of actually staying in the real estate business, they'd rather get into the teaching game. And so we got into the teaching game because we're really good at the real estate part, and we're not quitting real estate. We're in fact, it's something we want to stay in long term because we're good at it, and the second thing is that we want to stay good at it, and the only way that you stay good at something is you got to keep doing it. Anytime you think about people that lay off of whatever it is they do that they're really good at. I mean, a great example is look at Tiger Woods. He was in the news this past weekend. I mean, unfortunately for him, I'm not going to kick a guy when he's down or anything like that. But here's a guy that he's not nearly as good as he, was back in his heyday for a variety of reasons. And one of those is that, due to health concerns, he's not been able to play consistently. So it's going to take a while for him playing consistently to ever, if he ever can, get back to, where he was at his prime. And, does he have that within him? Possibly. I don't know. He certainly, what used to be said about him, he's one of the toughest guys in the game mentally. And so he has the mental fortitude, but the game is progressed. I mean, I think he raised the bar. It's kind of like the guy that broke the 4-minute mile for the very first time. I mean, nobody had broken the 4-minute mile. And then shortly afterwards, there were lots and lots of people that did it. And we went really, really fast to buying 300 houses. And, a lot of people were saying, man, I don't see that can be done. And then we did it. And I have a feeling there's going to be other people that come in behind us that go even faster. In fact, one of the things that we talk about at the weekend retreat is we ask the question, knowing what you know now about what we've been able to accomplish, if you could go back to July of 2013 and join us on this journey that we did in Houston House Buyers, would you want to do that? And, by show of hands, I asked people to raise their hand and comment about whether or not they would, be willing to do that. And like 95% of the room raises their hand. In fact, I think it's not 100% because, there's some people that are just never going to raise their hand regardless of what you ask. And so given that, then my next follow-up question is, knowing what we know now, Jason and I, do you think that Jason and I, if we were to go back to July of 2013 and start over, but we were able to keep the knowledge that we have today, could we go faster? And by show of hands, who thinks we could go faster? And then by show of hands, who thinks that it would take longer than what it did the first go round? And everybody thinks that we can go faster. And then the whole purpose of education is helping other people get the same kind of success that you get, right? And so by show of hands, we say, how many of y'all think that we could take you faster from 0 to 300 than what we went ourselves based on the information that we have today? If you're willing to, follow the proven system to get to where you want to get to. And then some people say, but Tom, I don't want to do 300 houses in 3 years. Well, that's fine. You don't have to. I mean, imagine if you only did half of that. Or imagine you want to do more than that. I mean, that's a possibility, right? I mean, it is possible that somebody could actually want to do more than what we did. But we can tell you what the time, the energy, the resources, financial resources, the time resources, and the path in order to get you from where you are to where you want to be. But we help people whether they want to get into the lending side of things, the private money lending side of things, or whether they want to get into the buy and hold side of things, or the buy, fix, and flip side of things, or the wholesaling side of single-family real estate. If you want to talk about any of those, if you have any of those questions, feel free to give us a call, 713-785-1817. You're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. And again, the number is 713-785-1817, or you can type in a question on the Book of Faces. All you have to do is go to facebook.com, go to Right Path Real Estate, like that page, and then you can follow along. You can just click on the live video. You'll see me broadcasting. There's a couple of seconds delay, something like that. But I also want to tell you about events that are coming up. Our next event, we don't have any events at all this week. Our next event's going to be June 8th. It's going to be at the Houston Hilton West Chase, 9999 Westheimer. And then our next event that's going to be in Dallas is going to be June 15th. That's going to be at the Wyndham Dallas Park Suites. That's going to be at 7800 Alpha Road. So that's June 15th. Both of those events start at 6 p.m. So going back to this guy that does solar screens, so I started talking to him, and he was saying that, and for those of y'all that just joined, I was just telling a quick story about a guy came out to my house on Friday, measuring for solar screens, going to get installed this Friday. And he's kind of a one-man shop. And he said, I have a real problem trusting people to even measure, to read a tape measure. He said, because I see people that, if they make a mistake on that, then they're going to be mismeasured. They're not going to fit right. I'm going to have to either remake them, eat that screen. It's all going to be wrong. And so this guy actually, he measures, he manufactures, and then he installs these solar screens. And he said, I can trust some people to make them. I've taught people how to do that. I've also taught people how to install them. But he doesn't trust anybody to measure. And I said, if you can't trust other people to do things that are as good as you are at doing those things, then it's always going to limit your growth. I mean, can you imagine, that people that built GE or AT&T or Apple or, imagine if Bill Gates, obviously he's a pretty bright guy, but he trusts other people enough that when he hires them, that they're going to go out and do their job. I mean, Microsoft would never be what it is if he didn't have the ability to trust and hire other folks. You can never grow if you can't trust other people. So it starts with that. Then the second thing it starts with, or the second thing that it continues with, is you've got to know how it is that, like what the numbers are with when you scale the business. One of the things that we talk about in our weekend retreat is that if a person were going to start a restaurant business because they just graduated from culinary school or something like that, you have to account for, if you're going to work in the business, like as the chef, you're going to be the head chef, master chef, whatever it's called. I mean, the chef above the sous chef. whatever that is. So if you're going to be the main chef of the restaurant, and you got to calculate in what it costs to have that guy for when you replace yourself as the chef. Otherwise, you can never, ever afford to replace yourself as a chef. So let's say the going rate for a main chef is like somewhere, let's say it's $100,000. And if you're not making $100,000 as a chef and making an income as the owner of the business, in other words, let's say as the owner of the restaurant business, you need to make $100,000, and then as the chef, you need to make $100,000. Until you're making $200,000 a year in your restaurant business, then you're deluding yourself about whether or not the restaurant business is truly successful. Same thing happens with real estate investors, is that they don't really understand the true cost of doing the entire transaction start to finish because there's so much bad education out there. You see it starts with the A&E Flip This House shows. They buy this property and they don't show any transactional cost on the closing of purchasing the property whatsoever. So let's say they buy a house for, $600,000. And they don't show that that they've got title insurance and all the different expenses that goes with buying a house for $600,000. And then they show that they did, $150,000 worth of rehab in only 2 weeks. Now, first off, that, in my world, that can't possibly happen. I mean, we calculate, one of our numbers that we teach people is that you can do about $7,500 a week worth of rehab on a property. And so $150,000 worth of work is going to take you about 5 months. But somehow magically they can, through the magic of television and editing, they can do it in 2 weeks. So that's really bad teaching. And then the next thing that they do is they say, okay, we've got $750,000 into the property, and we sold it for $900,000 for a potential profit of $150,000. And it's like, no, wait a second. What about the fact that when you sell a $900,000 house, there's about $90,000 in closing costs? And so there's 90 of the 150,000, so you're only left with 60. And most people will be like, well, I'm okay with 60. I can live off of that. Yeah, but what about your holding costs?
2 minutes.
Because it's going to cost you money to buy the house for $600,000. It's going to cost you money to put the $150,000 in rehab in. You got to have that $750,000 from somewhere. Well, I'm using my own money. I don't have any costs for that. I know a guy that came to our weekend retreat. He's got about $1 million that he's spending of his own money. Well, that's great, but he could very easily be making 7, 8, 9% on his money. If he's not charging his own transaction then he can never scale beyond the money that he's got. You're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. That's 713-785-1817. Or you can follow us on the Book of Faces and type in questions right there. Or you can just say hello if you want. Good morning, Whitney. And good morning, Valley. And so we're going to go into a break. We're going to continue this conversation on the other side. You're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. Give us a call, 713-785-1817.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, you're good.
Did you know that there are over $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S.?
No big deal, really?
Imagine if you could use someone's IRA to fund all
I guess
of
it
your
is a bigger
deals.
deal, isn't it?
Well,
yeah,
you can. Quest IRA is based locally here in Houston, Texas.
I won't do that again.
At Quest IRA, we offer
I just felt like that was a
accounts
stopping point.
that can be used to invest in real estate, promissory notes, private entities, and much more. Many of our clients loan money from their IRAs to fund real estate deals all over the country. We don't sell any investments or give advice. However, we do hold free networking events, weekly educational classes, and free consultations with an IRA specialist. For more information, visit our website at questira.com or call us at 1-855-FUN-IRAs. To tap into the $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S., call Quest IRA at 1-855-FUN-IRAs or go to our website, questira.com.
If you have cracks in your walls, ceilings, or floors, you may have a foundation leveling problem. Do you have doors that stick or just won't open right? Maybe you have gaps in the bricks of your fireplace. You need Green Tree Foundation Leveling, a fast, high-quality foundation leveling company based here in Houston. They know how hot it gets on the Gulf Coast. High summer temperatures, heavy rainfall, and clay-rich soils are leading causes of foundation cracks. If you have a cracked slab or a shifting foundation, call Green Tree Foundation Leveling at 832-329-1687. How old is your house? Many older homes in our area require foundation repair simply because of our climate and soil conditions. Green Tree Foundation Leveling provides free estimates within 24 hours. They repair concrete slab foundations and pier and beam homes too. The experts at Green Tree Foundation Leveling work fast and offer competitive rates, even a lifetime transferable warranty. Call 832-329-1687 to schedule an appointment with Green Tree Foundation Leveling.
Are you expecting to close accurately, on time, and with lots of communication on your home purchase? You've come to the right place. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, Senior Loan Officer with Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Our goal is to give our borrowers and referral partners an amazing experience during the loan process. My team believes in putting people and culture before results. Our company concentrates on building those teams who operate with structure, process, and recognition for going the extra mile for you. This way, we have the energy to make this your best home purchase ever. Give us a call today to find out the simple steps to get started. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, the Hernandez team at Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Jennifer.legacymutual.com or call 713-579-3611. Again, Jennifer.legacymutual.com. We can't wait to consult with you soon. NMLS 514497.
Equal Housing Opportunity Lender. NMLS 514497.
You found or inherited a great investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth, or more importantly, what to do to maximize your investment while mitigating risk. This is exactly why we started Next Gen Appraisals. Next Gen is a group of appraisers specializing in investment real estate. We understand that investors aren't just looking for a number of what their property is worth, but a comprehensive analysis of the market. Give NextGen a call at 713-346-9911 or check us out online at nextgenappraisals.com.
Investor Loan Source is Houston's premier investor loan company. Our products and approval process are unique in the Houston marketplace. First of all, we loan based on the asset alone. That means no credit minimums, no income requirements, and no reserve minimums. Second, we have short-term loans for fix and flips and several long-term options for rental properties. Since we're asset-based lenders, everyone is approved. Check out Investor Loan Source at ILS.cash. That's ILS.cash.
This is Business 1110.
All right, stand by. Hot mics in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817, 713-785-1817. So I wanted to go back to this guy that came and visited my house on Friday. Super nice guy, very bright, owns his own business. But in the quadrant of Robert Kiyosaki's self-employed, employee, investor versus business owner, he's definitely in the self-employed quadrant, and he gets that. And he says he's read the Robert Kiyosaki book. Now, here's some of the things that he said. He said, look, I've had some friends that have talked to me about doing, buy, fix, and flip, and he said, but what I realize is that I'm risking so much money when I do that, and although you are leveraging a lot of money, because if you go and buy a house for $185,000 and you're going to put $120,000 into it, most people say, but I don't have $305,000 liquid to go and do that. But if I had $305,000, then I would definitely go and give that a try. But here's the reality is, there are so many different ways to fund deals like that. In fact, if you want to find out about many of the creative ways to fund those kind of deals, Jason's actually going to be speaking on Money, Money, Money on June the 8th at the Houston Hilton Westchase. And then actually, you know what? I'm telling you wrong on that. That was actually his last one that he did at the Houston Hilton Westchase. We're actually going to be talking about how to lose money in real estate is going to be our next event. So, it's going to be how to lose money in real estate. He just recently talked about money, money, money. And but we will talk about it again probably in the next month or two. But if you have questions about how to raise private money, it's one of the things that we talk about in our weekend retreat. And in fact, that's an all-day Friday, all-day Saturday, all-day Sunday event where we talk about how to raise private money. We talk about how to use hard money lenders. We talk about all the different ways to fund a deal, sometimes using owner finance deals. We don't spend a lot of time talking about subject twos and wraps, although we've done some of those. And we recognize that there's a way to do subject twos the right way to buy the property with the financing in place. What we find in reality is, although it sounds great in theory, and this is another one of those situations where there's a lot of bad teaching out there. It's almost like if you ever were to go and buy a red car, you see red cars everywhere from that point on. And if you ever get taught subject to, then you're going to try and look for how to do a subject to deal on every single deal. And although subject tos, it is a great strategy for when it fits. Oftentimes what it seems like you're trying to do is you're trying to take that specialized tool, the tool that I describe it sometimes, and for those of y'all that know me, there's this one particular tool that is for removing the nut underneath the faucet that keeps the faucet onto the sink in the kitchen faucet. Because, it's normally a really long reach to get up there, and there's this one specific tool you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's, and it's fantastic for removing that nut. That tool's not too great for driving a nail into a 2x4. That you would use a hammer instead, right? But what I see happens is that once people have that one tool, and buying subject to existing financing, leaving the financing in place for with the previous seller, that's a great tool for when it fits. But trying to use that on every single transaction is just a complete and utter waste of time. I mean, that's probably the best way to say it. It's a little bit like, can it be done? Can you use that tool that goes underneath, that fixes that nut or removes that nut or puts that nut on that's on the bottom of the sink? Can you use that to drive a nail into a 2x4? Yeah, I mean, you can, but why would you want to? Why not just get the right tool for the job and do the transaction the right way? But there's, several real estate investor teaching programs out there that teach that, with this one strategy, you can buy an unlimited number of houses. Well, that's not, it's not only not true, it's an outright lie, because there's a limit to the number of houses on a monthly basis that you can actually do that way, because they really only fit in situations where people are in an extremely financially desperate situation, and that are what you typically find in those situations is there are houses where there's not a ton of equity. These people have gotten into a pre-foreclosure or foreclosure situation, and they're really behind monthly payment-wise. They've missed not just 2 or 3 monthly payments like it used to be when they foreclosed after about 3 months of missed payments. Nowadays, banks are working with people longer, but people are getting 6, 7, 8 months behind. And if they're $1,500 a month behind for 8 months, they're $12,000 behind. And if they're $12,000 behind in their mortgage, they're also behind on their maintenance of their air conditioning system and of their hot water heater and of their plumbing and of their of everything, of the fascia and the trim and their carpets and their tile and their wood. I mean, everything is, and their paint and the sheetrock and all of that. So they're probably another $10,000 or $15,000 in repairs behind. So, there's these educational programs that teach you can do this with no money, but, right there, you need $15,000 to get them caught up and another $15,000 in the property. You truly need $30,000 out of pocket, 9 times out of 10 on a subject to deal. Well, I mean, if you start out with $100,000, you can do 3 deals that way. And then, are there exit strategies where you can get those back and you do owner finance wraps? Yeah, of course, but it takes time to do all those things. So you're constantly needing to use money to do that, and very rarely do you have 70% deals where you can borrow other people's money in order to do that deal, because most people, when they're lending you their money, they want to be in a first lien position, but the mortgage company is going to be in a first lien position. So that's the bad news about subject twos. But are there situations where everything, what I'll call the planets align and it works out and it's the best, situation for everybody involved? Yeah, absolutely. There are those situations. But can you build a business out of doing 10 of those a month? Absolutely not. Do they make it sound like you can? Absolutely. So back to this guy that's going to do solar screens. Some of the things that I learned from the language he was using, He says, well, I don't have the money to do this on a large scale. He said, I feel comfortable risking the amount of money that I risk every time that I go out and do I do a solar screen job. If I mess that up, I lose a couple of bucks, a couple of $100, worst case scenario in time and materials, things like that. But in a transaction where I buy a $300,000 house or a $180,000 house, put $120,000 in it, I can lose the whole $300,000. But the reality is it would be nearly impossible to lose. In fact, it'd be outright impossible to lose the entire $300,000 in a transaction like that. Because one is you're never going to lose the cost of the dirt because you can always sell the dirt at some point in the future. Can you lose money? Yes, you can, but it's more likely that you're going to lose 10 or 15%, not the entire transaction. It's not like the stock market. I mean, I've owned stock before where the company went bankrupt. I had, let's say, $100,000 worth of stock, and the company went bankrupt. It was back in the telecom bust, and we had quite a bit of money in a telecom stock. And the company went bankrupt, and all of the value of the stock went to zero. But if you're investing in single-family houses, that can't happen. James is asking a question on the Book of Faces. He says, can you get rehab funding in a second position with a subject to? And the answer is yes. It would take private money to do that. I don't know of any hard money lender, and certainly no banks that would typically do that. But there are private money lenders that would take a second. Normally, they're going to, the great thing about private money lenders is that every single lender has their own underwriting requirements. And so I can say that not every private money lender out there would do that, but I know that there are probably quite a few that would. And it's going to depend on a lot of other factors, like what percentage of equity are you buying that subject to property in? So, for example, if you're buying a property that is, let's say, $12,000 behind in payments, and the house is worth let's say the house is worth $300,000, and there's only $150,000 of loan balance left on that mortgage, so there's still quite a bit of equity there, then there's a high probability that somebody would take a second in that situation, so that if you were to default on the first, they could step in on the second and protect their rights, if you will. They could just buy out the first and own the entire property. Not buy out, but they could catch up the first and foreclose on you with their second. Because if you're not making payments to the second and you're not making payments to the first, they can always protect their interest in that by taking over your position through foreclosure process. But if you're buying a subject to, and I've seen people do this, I've seen situations where people do no equity subject tos. In other words, they're buying a house that the person owes essentially $195,000 on a $200,000 house, and they're just taking over the payments because the person wants to walk away. Does that happen occasionally? Yeah, occasionally, but it doesn't happen often. And in that situation, they don't have enough money in it to even pay a real estate agent. Because if you sell a $200,000 house through a real estate agent, you're going to spend about $12,000 just in real estate commissions. And so some people don't have that kind of money to be able to walk away. And so would you be able to get a second in that situation? Probably not. So
2 minutes. Again,
back to this guy. So he's got this mindset that the entire amount of his investment, that if you're risking bigger because the dollars involved are bigger, then you are that you are at risk of losing the entire amount. And the reality is we have some really simple formulas that if you follow those, in other words, the first thing you have to do is be able to calculate the ARV, the after repair value. And you have to be good at basically comping what you think a property is worth. And this is the first mistake that I see people get when they're brand new, is they get really, really eager to do a deal, and they start pushing that number. They start listening too much. There's a piece of property that one of our students asked me to take a look at, and it's on the Galveston Bay. It's actually it's got waterfront on Galveston Bay. Now the bay is really big, goes from the backside of the Galveston Island all the way around Seabrook, LaPorte, Baytown, all of that. So I'm not going to tell you where it is, but in this particular subdivision, I don't see that any property has sold for more than about $220,000 going back to like 2014. And these folks think that their house is worth $650,000 as it sits. Just because the person thinks that that's true doesn't make it true. So you've got to be able to do your own valuations and determine safely and securely what you think the property is worth when the property is fully finished in rehab. You're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. Give us a call. James, hopefully that answered your question.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties, whether it's a flip, rehab, or a rental rehab. No more managing it yourself. No more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992.
Rehab loans, conventional loans, FHA, and no-income documentation loans can seem scary unless you have the right mortgage company to guide you through the process.
Trying to hit a June 1st
Since 2003, Noble
deadline.
Mortgage has been helping investors just like you. Whether rehabbing houses, buying your first home, rental, or commercial property, Noble Mortgage offers up to 100% financing. Call Noble Mortgage at 713-680-8100 or visit noblemoney.com. That's noblemoney.com.
NMLS 292143, 8203 Willow Place Drive, Houston, Texas, 77070.
Time is money in a real estate deal. If your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes or binders? The agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. We're here for you. Are you a rehabber, wholesaler, buy and hold, or flipper? Bundling your properties on a single policy will help save time and money. Benchmark has been in business for over 10 years, and we insure over 30,000 properties. Contact Benchmark about our exclusive investor package. Call us and let us show you what we can do for you at 281-569-4353. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com. That's benchmarkbroker.com. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
Do you have cracks in your brick, doors that stick, or sheetrock that's coming apart? Then you may have foundation movement. Due to our expansive soils in the Houston area, it's probably not a question of if you have movement, but when. Call Foundation Check for a truly independent, unbiased foundation evaluation. Foundation Check has been in business since 2009 and has completed over 1,400 evaluations. We're not in the business of repairing foundations or selling you unnecessary pier work, but we are in the business of evaluating your foundation. Our product is designed for house flippers, landlords, or even owner-occupied properties. Each of our files is reviewed by a licensed engineer. Remember to check before every repair. Call 346-702-3825. That's 346-702-3825. Or you can reach us online at foundationcheck.com. That's foundationcheck.com.
You found or inherited a great investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth, or more importantly, what to do to maximize your investment while mitigating risk. This is exactly why we started Next Gen Appraisals. Next Gen is a group of appraisers specializing in investment real estate. We understand that investors aren't just looking for a number of what their property is worth, but a comprehensive analysis of the market. Give NextGen a call at 713-346-9911 or check us out online at nextgenappraisals.com.
Investor Loan Source is Houston's premier investor loan company. Our products and approval process are unique in the Houston marketplace. First of all, we loan based on the asset alone. That means no credit minimums, no income requirements, and no reserve minimums. Second, we have short-term loans for fix and flips and several long-term options for rental properties. Since we're asset-based lenders, everyone is approved. Check out Investor Loan Source at ils.cash. That's ils.cash.
This is
All right,
Business
stand by, my good
1110.
man. All right, Tom. Hot mics in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. So I guess to sum up this entire radio show, what it's really about is there is good education out there and there's some really bad education. And so what I would recommend is go to the different events around town and find out who your group is. In other words, you're going to click with a particular group, but you need to listen to. There's a couple of key things that you can discern, hopefully. Because the hardest thing about determining truth is, what is your measure to figure out, who's speaking truth and who's not? I mean, I know that there was teaching going on this past weekend, and the stuff that was being taught was just utter hogwash. I mean, if you follow what it is that they're saying to do, you are going to fail miserably over the long term. Will it work on one or two deals every now and then? Yes. But that's the delusion. Is it scalable, repeatable, duplicatable? No, absolutely it's not. And so I'm not going to call them out or anything like that because that's just not who we are. But what you have to look at is that it's not whether or not you can do a transaction one at a time. In other words, I can go to the car auction and use a buddy's, auction, used car license and buy a car at the auction and then go out and sell and maybe make, $500, $1,000, $1,500, things like that. And there's going to be some metrics that I'm going to figure out in that process. But it's a completely different educational process to go from doing that one transaction to doing it on a consistent, duplicatable, repeatable business manner where you've got systems and processes on the marketing side, on the selling side, in other words, when you're buying the property, on the rehab side, on all the different steps that it takes to do that well. And here's the problem is that most of the people that get involved in real estate are relatively bright guys as it
2 minutes
compared to average, right? So in other words, they're relatively bright guys, and in our culture today, most people think pretty highly of themselves. Well, I should say a lot of people think highly of themselves. And so there's this mindset that I'm just going to get bigger, better, faster, stronger, and I'm just going to outwork and outperform everybody else. But if you're not building a business around what you can do on an average everyday day, because everything eventually is just going to regress down to average, right? In other words, we don't want to build a tire-changing business like a Discount Tire to compete with Discount Tire based on how fast a NASCAR team can change a set of tires. Can you all see that from a business perspective, that wouldn't work? And so we also wouldn't want to build a baseball team around a team that only hits home runs. In other words, it's a home run or it's an out. That's not going to be very successful. And so in business, what you have to recognize is that there's a pace at which business gets done day in and day out, and you've got to build success within that norm of how business works. And that's some of the things that we teach in Right Path Real Estate. So hopefully you've learned some things today, and know that it is knowable that the key to success is learning the right ways to do things, that avoid bad teaching, learn good teaching, and then change your mindset, because a lot of times it's nothing more than your mindset that's keeping you from being successful. So Jason still won't be in the studio, but I'll be back in the studio tomorrow.
20 seconds.
You've been listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, and I hope everybody's going to have an awesome short week this week. Get out there and kill it today, guys.
Mic's off. All right, have a good day.
All right.